Hey guys, it is Sunday, 3:45. I'm up to period 5. I just got through the other 3 classes. It seems to be a theme that not everybody's turning this assignment in. You guys actually had the most with, what do we got? 7, almost 9 people submitting. In the other classes, I only got maybe 5 or 6. So this was pass fail. It's a check-in to make sure you did some work over the week when we were working from home. I'm going to go through and give feedback. Please watch this whole video, not just the part about your logo, or even if you didn't submit, please watch the whole video because the feedback will be helpful for you. Now, overall, the thing I'm seeing most with all the classes is everybody's really focusing on images and not enough on the typography. The logo has to really speak to us type-wise, and the imagery is just an afterthought, just a little tiny little cherry on top, okay? Round 2, New York sneakers. I believe this is like it seems to me from what the logos are like, it's like a swap, like a thrift shop for sneakers. You can like resell them. I wouldn't use the recycling logo because it's already a symbol that we know for recycling and it kind of has a different connotation. But I do like this idea of the 2 arrows, like giving and getting and bringing back and receiving, right? So this is your strongest of your 3. And then I'm just going to pop into Illustrator here and give you some more ideas. So having that big font, round 2 with the 2 little arrows in there. This is a Bebas, Bebas font that you guys should have, or maybe even using those 2 arrows as like your little icon here, and then the text goes to the side of it. Now, I don't know if it has to say sneakers or not. I don't really know the name of it, but you can add some tracking by clicking on character and then using the tracking tool here to increase. So you could have that be smaller and it could be, round 2 New York City, right? Or you could have it inside there. So I think you're off to a great start with that third one. It just needs to focus more on the type, less on that graphic, right? The graphic becomes just a tiny little element, just a little something in between, or on top or on the side of. All right, Jordan, same comments here. We're getting way too visual with the imagery. We are going to design an actual coffee cup where your logo goes on top of it. So I wouldn't want your logo to be a coffee cup and then it's on top of a coffee cup, right? And then this is just getting way too out there with the Saddle River coffee, right? So think about this in a more sophisticated way. Simplify it, keep it clean. How about you just type out, Saddle River, and then we add cafe as a script, or maybe we can stack it, right? Saddle River Cafe. If you did want to bring in some kind of icon, here you could put like maybe a little steam or something. But for the most part, a lot of logos do not even need images if the type is strong enough, right? Maybe just some little icon, even if you wanted to do your little coffee mug here, coffee cup, right? Maybe that could go there. Just something small, some kind of tiny little icon, something that's not going to take away attention from the text. So focus more on the type, more on the layout, less on the image. Image should be the last thing you think about. Ethan. All right, so this is looking good. Out of these, the strongest is this diagonal line down the center. So again, less is more. So we're going to take out the pepperoni and all the graphics in there. I like this concept, but imagine seeing this on a big sign outside. You wouldn't really read the Toscana pizza. You would just see this giant pizza slice. So doing more with these really basic shapes and these colors is really cool. I like that it has a kind of like 80s vibe in the sense that it's got like this lime green and this pink. Maybe it could have almost like let's see, what about like an Andy Warhol effect? Colorways. Right, I'm sure you guys have seen this before. Andy Warhol style is when you have like the 4 different colors, right? The 4 different icons in 4 different versions of it. So you could do that Toscana pizza, but you could do it in, pink with yellow, and then orange with red, and then pink with red, and then aqua with blue. You could have a really funky look. And on like maybe on the cup, for the takeout cup or on the takeout bag, you could have all these different colorways of it. But then for just the letterhead, we just stick to one that's going to be like the main colorway. So I really like this, where you're going with this. So keep going with that and experiment with other colors. We'll see what happens. All right, next. Aiden. So I'm sure you're doing this for your mom. It looks really good. My only comment would be simplify this icon so it's a little bit smaller, so you let her name take center stage. Here it's getting way too big, where it's kind of overpowering the text. So I'd keep it small. I know that you're mimicking a shutter for aperture. I like it better without the extra ring around it, kind of simplifying it, keeping it basic. Um, and I would try uppercase for photography, very spaced out, kind of like we did here with the sneakers, right? Photography, very light photography, very sophisticated, and increase the tracking by a lot. Go up to 600, right? And then you let her name be the important name, and then let this photography it could kind of stretch right underneath, depending on how much tracking you use. You can have it fill that entire space. So I like the lowercase for the name. It's a little bit more personal. It's a little bit more friendly. And then for the photography, it can be this. Try this way. It might look good how you have it. But I don't know. I see you kind of tested it here. Just see if you can get more contrast with the uppercase um, instead of the lowercase there. But it looks great. Keep going. All right, Grace. Out of these, I think I like the bottom one the best. Again, some of this imagery is getting a little bit too much. This isn't too bad. Maybe if you did a watercolor, if you look up like let's look up watercolor logo. I might see something in here. Right? So if you want to capture that kind of watercolor look, you can find things like this, right? Some kind of like watercolor effect there. You could find it on images. I'm just looking at what watercolor icons there are. That's kind of cool. So that could be if you had like vanilla and then the sky had this like swoosh of watercolor behind it, that could work. But I like the little star in the eye. I like that you're using two different fonts. So keep going with that. Keep trying different fonts. Keep playing with it. I would start with what you have down here, and I would also try this one with the watercolor. And think sophisticated, right? I think it's an apparel boutique. So try these hairline serifs. This is Didot, D-I-D-O-T. Try some more brushy scripts, more like these kind of calligraphy scripts. Those might look more modern and trendy. Jake, not sure what this logo is for because I don't see any text. You get the credit for submitting it, but don't use image trace on colored images like this. It's going to give you this very washy effect. If you are using image trace, make sure you're just doing it on solid black and white graphics, nothing with color. So again, not sure what company this is, so I can't provide much feedback. Jack, we've got the wholesale diamond company. So again, with this, imagine looks more like an icon and less like a logo. We really got to get the name Diamond Wholesale Company to be large and let this thing be the afterthought. It's a little bit too complicated. It's got the truck, it's got the house, it's got the diamond. Too many messages here, too many images. I do like that you tried a lot of different versions. So what if we take that diamond and we make it really bold, right? And then we do something like wholesale ink underneath. Or if you do want to use a diamond graphic, maybe that becomes almost like a bullet in between wholesale and ink, something like that. Or if you want diamond wholesale to all be the thing, wholesale, right? And maybe that's the logo. And then we put the little diamond shape in between. And it doesn't have to be a solid, it could be an outline, but I don't think it needs to be a truck and a house and boxes and all that stuff. So keep it simple. And then maybe this says incorporated, right? Because that's what that means. And then we can make it, you could add the line under there if you want. This could have a little bit more texture to it. It could be, kind of have like those, like it actually looks like a diamond. It could have an arrow there. We could go back to this kind of concept because apparently it seems like Diamond Wholesale is moving things back and forth, right? Or like selling products. So we could even, pop something like that in there. So I would really approach it more as looking at this from the standpoint of wanting to be able to see the graphics. See the type and then worrying about the graphics later. Sometimes you don't even need graphics. Another thing you could do here is go to type, create outlines. That's going to turn your type into vector. And then with your white plus arrow or your regular white arrow, you can actually stretch these down. And that could be a very cool way to kind of build this in there. You see that, how that fits now? You can even take off the dot, kind of put that in there like that, and then you don't even need these guys, right? So that's another kind of cool feature. So again, that's taking type, go to type, create outlines, it turns it into vector. You are then able to use your white arrow to kind of pull. I can't grab it here, I'm not zoomed in enough, but you get the idea, right? So you can kind of pull type apart that way as well. And the last one, we've got Jaden and the Twisted Spoon. So of these three, your center one is the strongest. I like that you replace the I with the ice cream cone. That makes sense. Logo design no-no is you don't want to say the word spoon and also show a spoon. Okay, one or the other. I wouldn't include both. I would go with this middle one and keep playing with it from there. Try Twisted in this font and then maybe Spoon underneath in a sans serif. So imagine if we had, you know, Twisted and then underneath we had Spoon in this font, something like that to give it some more contrast so it's not the same font the whole way around. All right, so hopefully that helped you guys out. I'll see you next time on when our class meets again. Thanks.